Welcome to the Elite Life with Trisha and Kylie. This is where we'll teach you how to develop grit, give yourself grace, and succeed in real estate. So let's dive in.
Hi, friends, and welcome to another episode of the Elite Life Podcast. I'm Trish, and always by my side is Miss Kylie B.
That's me.
And today we're going to talk about the things we don't talk about.
Are you finally giving me free license to take this filter off?
No.
Oh, dang it. Y'all were about to get an education if that were to happen.
We're going to shut it down. What I mean is we are always sharing all the things we're doing and all the things we're accomplishing and all the goals we're crushing. But what about the things we don't do? What about the actions that we don't take?
Okay. All right. Tell me more things. I'm on board because there's a bunch of crap that I don't do. So tell me how it's going to be okay if I don't do these things.
Yeah. So as we all know, I listen to a lot of podcasts. Even more now that I moved, I have a significant amount of drive time in my day now. And I was listening to this podcast the other day, and he said that someone asked him the questions, what mistakes didn't you make that you feel saved you from failure? So people may not think about this often, but there are some pretty common mistakes that entrepreneurs make that blow their businesses up. So I thought about this and I was like, okay, like what would mine be? And here's what I think that I didn't do or that I don't do that has really helped me from blowing up my business, and not doing these things has helped me to just steadily grow, just to stay in my own lane, to keep doing what I needed to be doing instead of taking these actions and making some mistakes that a lot of entrepreneurs make.
All right, lay it on me.
All right, so I came up with 4. I think there's 4. Let me look. There's 3.
You do
4?
have 4.
I got 4. Okay, so I got 4.
And they're good ones too. So listen up.
All right. So the first thing that came to my mind, and it's interesting because literally every boss I had before I became a boss did this thing, but I don't. And that is that I didn't and I don't chase money. And
Wait. You just moved into this big ass house on the lake that is just endless. So when you say you don't chase money, what do you mean?
Okay, so I like money, obviously. I love
was just
money.
about to say, everybody chases money in one way or another. What are you talking about?
No. There is definitely a difference. You can like money. You can pursue financial freedom without chasing money. And what I mean by that is I like having nice things. I like living comfortably. I like being able to provide a full life for my family with vacations and cool experiences. But I will not compromise my morals, my integrity, or the law to chase a paycheck. I also won't compromise my time. So there are, like, literally every day I'm approached about business opportunities. Like, just last night, a girl messaged me like, can I send you this video? And I always try to be nice and be like, yeah, sure. Always open to new opportunities. And she's like,
you don't know until you know, right? What you could be walking into.
Absolutely. So I always keep my mind and my options open, and I'm like, yeah, sure, send me the video. I'll take a watch. I'll take a look. But what I know is a yes to one thing is a no to something else. So could I sell activewear very easily? Yes, absolutely. But I am a person who doesn't like to do things half measure. So if I say, yes, I'm going to join you in this endeavor and I'm going to sell fitness wear, guess what? I'm going to need to take my time, my energy, and things away from my family to go do that.
Yeah.
So could I make more money? Yes. Will I compromise my time for that money? No. And when I talk about chasing money in real estate, it happens very often that realtors realize like I can make a whole bunch of money in this way if I work in this gray area. And although it may not be I'm committing blatant fraud, it may be I'm choosing to look the other way or do something a little bit off book to make an extra dollar. And I won't do that. Like I won't put making an extra $5,000 ahead of taking care of a family that needs it. I do not get greedy and I do not chase money and I will not compromise for money.
And I think that's a good thing to bring up, especially with real estate, because we saw an influx of people coming into the industry because they thought it was easy money. They were going to make a ton of money, and you certainly can. And I too have worked with and dealt with agents who are what we call money chasers, which is fine. Like Trisha said, like everybody likes money, everybody needs money. But I feel like too, those are the agents who are dropping out, right? Because they don't have a heart of service. So they, in their eyes, they're failing because they're not making, $100,000, $200,000. Well, it's because they're taking crappy care of their clients because they're treating them like a paycheck instead of treating them like a person.
Yeah. And like I said, all the bosses I had before I became a boss, they did this. Instead of saying, and what I do is I say, how can I impact people and make the world better? So I can coach and train my agents, right? So that they can go out and take good care of others instead of saying, well, I can just get 5,000 agents and hang licenses and hope that it just works out, right?
Yeah.
Like I can take really great care of 5 clients instead of taking really crappy care of 500 clients, right?
Yeah.
So are there other brokers out there that make a lot more money than me or have grown faster than me? Absolutely. 100%. But what happens is they get super big, super fast, chasing paychecks, and then it blows up because their agents are mad because they're not giving their agents any time. They're not taking care of them. They don't care about their agents. They're just looking for the next dollar and the next closing and the next sale. Their clients suffer because they don't care about their clients. They're just looking for the next dollar and the next sale. And they've got big so fast that they have not put in the infrastructure like we talked about in other episodes of having standard operating procedures and having checklists and having all of these things in place so that you can grow well and grow strong and have a good, stable base. So I will not just chase the almighty dollar. I will work very hard. I will see how I can impact people. I will see how I can grow. And I have been able to steadily grow every single year in the business, no matter what's going on, no matter what is, who won the election, what's going on in the environment of the world, is it a pandemic or not, we have been able to steadily grow because instead of chasing paychecks, we say, how can we do this thing really great?
That's really good advice. Like we said, especially for the new agents coming in, or if you're thinking about getting into real estate, we've talked about this before too. It's important for you to interview your broker. So ask them these things, what's most important to you? If I go ask 10 of your agents, are they going to tell me, that they've spoken to you in the last, 3 or 4 weeks, that they feel confident and they feel good about their training? So that's really important. All right, lay the next one on me.
Yes. And that brings me to the next one, which is I don't compare myself to other brokers and brokerages. And you might say, well, Trish, you just did that. But here's what I mean. Trent, when he was little one time, he came up to me and he goes, Mama, who is your enemy? And I'm like, what? And he's like, who's your enemy? Who do you want to take down in the real estate business? And I was like, oh, like competition. Who's my competition? And he's like, yeah, is it that one guy on the billboards, or is it that other guy? And he's naming off all these realtors he's heard in radio commercials or seen on the billboards. And I'm like, no, I don't have a competitor or an evil rival. There's always going to be people that need to buy a home. There's always going to be people that need to sell a home. There's always going to be agents that need a great brokerage to go work at. So in my opinion, there is more than enough business to go around. And I do not have the time or the bandwidth to care about what this agent's doing or that broker's doing or this one's doing or that one's doing. Because I have had agents come in to interview with me, and they'll straight up ask me like, well, I interviewed at this brokerage, and now I'm here. Like, where do you think I should go? And I'm like, listen, here's the thing. At the end of the day, every real estate person out in the entire wide world has the same access to the same resources, to the same tools. We all use the same dialer. Everybody gets on Vulcan. Everybody gets on the Red-X.
Yeah.
We all get the same expireds, right? If you walk into the front door of our office and you like the vibe and you like the people and it feels like home, it's home.
Right.
That's where you want to be.
Yeah.
Right? I don't need to reinvent myself to be like, what's her face on Instagram, super mega agent that likes to show her boobs off. I ain't doing that. Like, it's not happening. Like, I am me. This is the culture that we created. I love it. My people love it. I think you'll love it too. If you don't, you'll move on. And that's cool.
And I think that definitely stands out, and that does speak volumes, because I mean, when I run into other agents out in the world and we do that, because like we're all trying to recruit each other, right? And like, it does get hard not to play that competition card, to play that comparison game rather, especially when you're a new agent and you're just like, how can I get to this place? How can I get to this place? Like, literally, you just have to grind it out.
Yeah, and I think that the one thing that really made me think about this is there was a guy that I had worked with at a brokerage a long time ago, and when that brokerage closed, we all went our separate directions, and I would always see him on Instagram, and I thought he was a total jerk, but on Instagram, it looked like he was super successful, and I was always like, how is he so successful? Like, he was such a jerk. Like, he only cared, like, he used to be the guy that, like, would park his Escalade in the handicap parking spot, and I'm like,
gross.
You're a jerk. He was a money chaser. And I was just like so shocked that so many, like, he was being so successful. And not that I thought like I wanted bad for him. I was just really surprised. And then one time one of his agents came and was like, no, he has like 2 agents and they have like 1 listing and it's his own company that he's selling. And I was like, really? I thought he was so successful. And I forget myself that like people are only going to post the highlight reel, and people can post whatever they want to post. So of course he's not going to post I'm broke and failing. He's going to post I'm awesome and successful. But in reality, he wasn't. So anytime that I would have taken comparing my growth to his would have been a waste of time, because I was comparing my actual self to his Instagram reel, which was fake news. Yeah. Right? So don't compare yourself, because a lot of times you're comparing yourself to something that's not even real. So that brings me to point 3, and I kind of already commented on that, and it's I don't make changes just because everyone else is doing it. I do not do short-term thinking. And it's like, it never fails to happen. I've been in this business almost 20 years. And so different brands have came out, right? It's like, oh, everybody has to have the balloon on their card. That's where everybody needs to be. And then everybody needs to be at this brokerage. And then right now it's everybody needs to be at this brand. And you're not good unless you're at this brand. And it never fails that people, like even my own agents will come and be like, well, why aren't we moving to this brand? Why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we doing this? And I'm like, listen, like, again, I always take the time to learn about it, research it, do my homework for it. But every single time, it hasn't been a culture fit for us. Like, I have built a very specific culture that is built around empowering my agents and education and service. And a lot of times that's not what those brands are about. It's about just being a cog in the wheel or a part of the machine. And I'm not willing, and I've said this so many times, because like with our brokerage, I don't charge fees. And 10 times out of 10, if you're going to a franchise or, a brokerage like an EXP, a KW, a RE/MAX, something like that, you're going to have a franchise fee. You're going to have a monthly fee. You're going to have a tech fee. You're going to have some sort of reoccurring fee.
Yeah.
I have recruited from day one saying I am a brokerage that does not charge fees to my agents. So it would feel inside morally wrong to then be like, hey guys, this is not a democracy. This is my dictatorship. And now you all have to pay fees, even though I told you when I brought you in, we don't do that here.
Yeah.
So I just refuse to make changes just because, it's like when your mom said, if everybody jumps off the bridge, would you do it too? I won't do it because that short-term thinking, like I made that mistake once early on in my career, and I dumped my whole office upside down to go do what everybody else was doing because it was the next hot thing and it was going to be so great. And I was miserable and it was terrible. And I told myself never, never again, because I didn't do any homework. I didn't do anything. I just trusted somebody that I trusted that this was going to be a good idea. And I was just at a different place in my life and I did it without thinking long-term or thinking big term. It was a quick fix, this is what everybody's doing, like, this is going to make life so great. And the thing is at the end of the day, like nothing changes if nothing changes. And if you just jump because everybody else is doing it, when that goes to crap, it goes to crap, like you have no control over it. You did it just because everybody else is doing it, So, so I really practice that long-term thinking. And now that's not to say that I won't pivot and make adjustments in my business if those need to be made. But I'm not dumping the whole business upside down to become something just because everybody else is wearing those Nikes, so I need to wear the Nikes too.
I mean, that's another really strong point that I think a lot of people, I've seen a lot of what I call brokerage hoppers doing that. They come to Elite Realty and they're like, hey, I'm miserable. Like, I'm not getting this, I'm not getting that. And then they come in, and I had one person who ended up leaving and going back to the brokerage that she came to us from, that she stated she hated. So after we gave her all of the training and she went through Stars Academy and she knew she could do it on her own, she went back there, but only because they had ISAs setting the appointments for them, which for some people might work really well. And, maybe that's something we do down the road. But again, I pointed out, I'm like, yeah, but now you're giving away more of your money because nothing's for free.
Right. And it's that short-term thinking. I'm going to sacrifice being able to be a 6-figure earner to get a $100 paycheck right now.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the grass is not greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it.
Oh, I like that. Or where you bury a dead body, I'm just saying.
Where you put in the work.
Yeah, where you're working. Okay, whether you're digging a grave or not.
Right. This took a dark turn, but the point is you need to do the work and make the changes. Just jumping and changing your business card isn't going to change anything.
Right. Okay. All right. So this is a good spot to pause. We're going to hear from Stars really quick, and then we'll be back for Trisha's very last What I Don't Do. And then I'll run down my list and we'll see who you resonate most with.
Do you know more than 80% of real estate agents fail and quit in their first year of business? MyStarsAcademy.com has set out to solve this problem by providing a convenient, expert-based training and coaching program for both agents and brokers. The Agent Accelerator program teaches agents everything they need to know to level up their business, have a constant flow of free leads, convert those leads into clients, and take those clients to the closing table and keep them coming back for more as repeat business. Our industry experts have years of proven success in the business and are here to share that gold through one-on-one coaching. This will help you achieve more structure and work-life balance. We will map you a plan you can follow, which will guide you through the steps to scale and grow in both your business and personal life. Don't be a statistic. Visit MyStarsAcademy.com and enroll today so you can get the success you deserve.
All right, here we are. Here you are. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. If you are just joining us, just to catch you up on what you missed, Trisha is running down the things that she don't do, the stuff she do not do, that has made her successful. So we spend a lot of times talking about the doo-doos. Get that? You like what I
got it.
We talk about the doo-doos, all the success, all of the goal crushing, all of the things, and we very rarely talk about the things that we don't talk about, which is the stuff we don't do. So Trisha's going to give us the last on her list of the things that she does not do, and then I'll run down a few for myself, and we'll see where you stand.
Yeah. So just to recapture very, very quickly, I don't chase money. I ain't chasing that dollar, but I do like dollars, and I do like
We collect the dollars, we just don't chase them.
Right. I don't compare myself to other brokerages, and I don't make changes just because everyone else is doing it. And last but definitely not least, this is actually the most important one, is I don't work myself to burnout. And people would be like, I mean, when do you sleep? When do you do this? When do you do that? And it's like, okay, listen, I do. I work hard. I will grind super hard. Like when we were moving, there was 2-3 days in a row where I only slept 4 hours. I only slept 5 hours.
That's like a regular Tuesday for me, by the way.
Right, but not for me, because I'm very, very, very intentional about not working myself to burnout. So I make sure that I get literally 8 hours of sleep every night. That is the regular for me, no matter what's going on in my life, unless it's something like a move or when Dave was in the ICU for a stroke. Other than like those two things, those are the only two things I can think of that have happened in the last 2 years where I didn't regularly get 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night. I make sleep a priority for me. I make eating well a priority for me. Now, that is not to say, like I said, yesterday I went to baby shower, I had some cake. Right? I
didn't believe her, by the way, you guys. When she's like, I had some cake, I'm like, I'm going to need some references to verify that information.
It fit in my macros.
Oh, there you go.
I also had a salad, though. So even when I'm on vacation, or I'm stressed out, like I always make sure that I am feeding my body well for my brain to function well. And I get movement. Even when we were moving houses and I was already lifting stuff and I was already working, I made sure... day 2 of us moving in here, I went for a 2-mile run. It was 20 some minutes, not a big deal, just a light jog, just to get out, get some fresh air, get some perspective, let my body just be for a minute, shake it all out. And like, also at the same time, like, feel proud of myself for continuing to pour into myself, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. And I know a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners who have stories of working themselves to burnout. Like my last boss at the brokerage I worked at before I reopened my own brokerage, he told me like I would be in the conference room and I'm talking to a client, I just straight pass out because I forgot to eat for 2 days, or, I fell asleep driving and I crashed my car, or I will tell you, when I first got in the business, I did not practice these things because I wasn't in the health and wellness space. And I had worked myself to where I had to call Andy and I was like, I can't get in my car. I need you to come over and drive me to work. And he's like, if you can't drive yourself to work, you probably shouldn't be going to work. And he picked me up and he took me to the hospital, and I had pneumonia, bronchitis, and had worked myself to exhaustion. And the people around the hospital were like, you could have killed yourself. Like pneumonia, people die from that. And I wanted him to take me to work, So it's like, I learned such a valuable lesson because, no joke, Kylie, 2 weeks later, a guy that I went to high school with, and he was like a great basketball player. Like we thought he was going to go pro. He was amazing. He got a college scholarship, everything. He died from pneumonia 2 weeks after I got out of the hospital for pneumonia. And that hit me so hard that I want to build something great, but I can't sacrifice myself because at that point I had a little baby. Trent was a little guy, and I'm like, I can't let this baby grow up without a mama because I'm trying to build some business that may or may not work. At that time, I had no idea. It was like year 2 in the business of my own. Right. And so you can't work yourself to burnout. You can grind, but you got to keep their first things first and keep priorities your priorities. And your number one priority, women especially, listen up, your number one priority is to take care of yourself. Just like on the plane, you put on your own oxygen mask first. And so many women, especially women of minorities, were taught and were brought up to serve yourself last, eat last, take care of others first, take care of your kids, take care of your husband, take care of your business. And those things are great. But if you don't take care of yourself, you won't be able to do those things.
Right. Preach, sister, because I want to point out really quick, there is a difference between grinding and burnout.
Yes.
I've taken on some consulting jobs. I've had my hands really full. I'm super proud because this is the first time I've actually, I've been doing real estate, but this is the first time, I've been able to really pour into my consulting business, which is, I love real estate. I love being an entrepreneur, but, I really geek out over this administrative crap. I love it so much. But it has taken up more time. Like we said before, every time you say yes to something, you say no to something else. And so I had to readjust my priorities and say, okay, I have to fit these hours in order to make my deadlines, in order to reach our financial goals, which is important for my family right now. So it's am I going to, so I know that I have to fit this work in and there's only so many hours of the day. So there have been times where I've said, okay, instead of getting up at 5 a.m. and working out, I'm going to sleep till 6 and just allow my body that time to, to rejuvenate. And then instead of going super hard, I'll get some yoga in later with the girls, or I'll go for a walk. It's there. It's just not as intense. And I feel like people really need to understand, because we do have the drive, especially here in America. We are working class people. We like to work, true entrepreneurs. And that's the other thing too, is I feel you got to that spot that you were just telling us about, not just because you're I got to pay the bills, I got to pay you the bills, but it's I love this, I'm into it. Mm-hmm. And there have been times where my husband has had to say, okay, honey, I'm going to take this phone, I'm going to put it way up high, I'm going to turn the ringer off because you need a break. And he knows that between serving my family and taking care of myself and wanting to succeed in business, I could very easily come to this place of burnout. And then we're sick, we're unhappy, we're screaming at our kids. So it's okay to grind, for sure. Grind it out. Take the time, pour, but don't burn yourself out. There is a difference.
Yeah, and I like that comment about you saying Ryan takes your phone away, because that's this weekend, we had all of our family over for holiday, and Trent got kind of mad at me because he was on his way home from his game, and I have started a practice of when my family comes over, I left my phone upstairs in my room. I don't even have it downstairs.
There's nothing that's going to happen.
Exactly. Nothing, no title company is going to all of a sudden on a Saturday at 4:00 be you must close this deal in the next 3 minutes,
no,
right?
It's not happening.
Yeah. So I didn't have any photos from this weekend. I had to steal them from my sister's Facebook page. And I was totally okay with that, because I was 100% fully engaged with my family. And I will tell you, even putting my phone away and spending that time engaged with them still didn't feel like enough time, because it's I see them on such few occasions. So it's yes, after I ran 2 races, finished this, I got to go down and spend, 3 hours with them. And by the end of the night, I'm the first one falling asleep on the couch. But those 3 hours, I was 100% fully engaged. I wasn't looking at my phone. I wasn't responding to text messages. I wasn't answering Trent's call. I wasn't doing any of those things. But when I woke up the next morning, all those things were still there, and it was totally fine. And I will remember those conversations I had. And when I was leaving my mom on Sunday after the baby shower, I was it was so nice to get to see you 2 days in a row. Even though it was only three hours each day, it is such a rare occasion. I see my mom 2 days in a row because I live over an hour away from her, and she works full time and I work full time, and now she has grandkids and I have kids. And so it's something as small as I got to sit next to you at a baby shower and talk to you, and you got to come to my house and have a meal. meant everything, and it didn't even feel like enough, but I was so happy that I spent that time engaged. Like at first I noticed at the baby shower I had my phone on the table, and I always think about this. When you are with somebody else and your phone is on the table, that is an unconscious cue to say, hey, at any point in time I might decide that something's more important than talking to you, and I'm going to pick up this phone. So I took the phone and shoved it in a box because I don't want to put that out. I don't want it to be a subconscious cue. I don't even want it to literally be on the table. I want the people I'm with to know, like, I am engaged here and I'm excited about this time with you.
I love that. And it's not always easy, but a lot of times it's necessary. And now I've gotten to the place where I'm like, here, Ryan, have my phone. Like, and I mean, there have been times where I've missed phone calls, and there have been some clients who have been like, hey, I called you yesterday 3 times and you're just now getting back to me. And it's like, hey, Sharon, I thank you. I'm sorry that, I wasn't able to pick up your call right away. I was at a family function. I was not able to be on top of my phone, but here I am calling you like less than 12 hours later. So what can we do? So like we said, nothing is going to happen that's not able to be facilitated later. All right. I'll run down my quick list before we wrap it up. So I had to really sit and think about this, because when you came up with this topic, I was like, I can think of a bunch of stuff I do, but like I really had to internalize and think about some things that, maybe I'm not doing that are successful, because usually when I'm not doing something, I'm getting yelled at and it's putting me behind. But number one, I don't stress out about trying to have it all. Like I was just talking about, I've come to understand that there are seasons in life. You taught me this, and you made it okay for me to, because I remember when I first started coaching with you, I'm like, I'm trying to do this, and then the kids, and blah, 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 blah. And you're like, okay, well, like in real estate, this is the example I will take to my grave. In real estate, I have a season where I'm working 10 and 14-hour days between showings and paperwork and taking care of myself and all of this stuff. And then there are seasons where my family's going on vacation for a week and we're spending more time together because we don't have that, that business grind going on. So I don't stress out about not having it all or not being able to pour into all of the buckets that I want to pour into. It used to stress me out, and I was trying to fill every single bucket 100% of the time, and it was just stressful. And I've come to accept that even though that might be possible, you could definitely do it, but you're going to be burned out. You're going to be, your quality of output of production is going to go down the hill. And so that's one thing I don't do. This is one thing my mother taught me, which I absolutely love. Shout out to Mama Higgins. I don't hold other people to the same expectations. Now, there's a difference between expectations and standards. I feel like I don't hold other people to the same expectations that I have of myself. And I'm not saying that I don't have expectations of other people. Mm-hmm. I do my very best to make sure that everybody does know what I expect of them. But this has helped me tremendously in like all of my relationships, personal and professional. And by nature, we are a lot harder on ourselves than we are, than other people, or even we're our worst critics, right? So anytime I'm doing something, I'm criticizing myself and I'm holding myself to a different expectational level than I would like if you did it, or if my kid did it, or if my husband did it. And that's really where it comes in, is like the example, the whole reason this came up is my mom told me, like when I'm home with the kids, Ryan's like gone hunting. He's gone for a week. So I'm flying solo, wearing all of the hats. And my husband does a tremendous amount of work with our house, with our kids, so that I can focus on our business and things like that. And I love the dynamic of our relationship. I absolutely love it. It works so amazing for us. But when I'm home with the kids, I hold myself to the expectation of, okay, we're keeping the kids alive today. Mm-hmm. We're not going to burn the house down. In addition, we're going to clean the kitchen, get the laundry done, get everybody bathed, like all of these other things. When my husband is home with the kids, he's home with the kids. He's playing with them. He's feeding them. He's engaging with them. He's watching shows and snuggling with them. He's wrestling with them. He's taking them for walks and being outside. So when I come home and, dinner's usually made, but like this isn't done or that isn't, I don't stress out about that, because my expectation for him was be home with the kids, be present, be a good dad, not, be the slave and be the maid and like do all of those things that I hold for myself. So I hope that resonated with someone. I hope that there's a man or a woman or somebody out there who is just like all stressed out about someone else's performance. Like, just let it go. Okay.
That's a really good one, because I remember when I had this aha moment that I do that a lot.
That's a doo-doo.
I do. I will get frustrated because I'm like, what are you doing all day, or this or that or this or that? And I realize, like, I can't expect, Trent, who's 18, to just go, oh, this garbage is full, I better take it out. This happened the other day, actually. Like, I had a conversation with Trent and Angelina, and I'm like, I expect you guys to, if you see the dishwasher full, like, turn it on and run it. If you see the trash full, like, take it out. And then, like, 2 days later, I go, oh, this trash is, like, really full. And then I move on. And then a few minutes later, I was like, Trent, I said that out loud, and my hope was that you would be like, oh, let me take this out. And he goes, why didn't you just ask me to take the trash out? And I'm like, well, I wanted you to just, like, hear me and do it. And he's like, just ask me to take the trash out. And I thought about that movie with Jennifer Aniston and Vince Vaughn, and she's like, I want baby to want to do the dishes. And he's like, nobody wants to do the dishes. And I was like, it's so true. Just because I see a full trash and I automatically take it out doesn't mean that everybody's brain works the same as mine, right?
Right.
And you have to understand that, like, different people work different ways. And I know this is getting long, but another great example of this is me and Dave were serving at Forgotten Harvest Food Bank in Detroit. And our job was to open this box of biscuits, put stickers on the bags of biscuits, and then put them back in the box. So the way I'm doing it is trying to be as fast as possible to get as much as possible done, because that's how I'm wired, is to be super, how much can we get done? How much can we get done? So I'm sitting here like slamming stickers on, like putting things in the bag. And Dave's like, I like to flip all the bags over so that the smooth side is up and put the label on it. And I was like, this is why our move has went the way it has. Because, like, I just want to get everything done and be super efficient. But you want to make it look really nice and do a really good job. And both are great.
Yes, both are good things.
Yes.
And that is why you guys are an amazing couple. Yeah. And that is why Ryan and I are an amazing couple. And that is why you should never marry someone who has the same brain as you.
Because you'll be super efficient, but everything's a mess.
You got stickers left and right in your hair. Boxes are all undone, but you got it all done, but didn't really get done.
Yeah, but you are you, and they are not you.
And accept it.
And that's okay.
And accept it.
That's okay. It's actually great, right?
It is
great.
great.
You get the best of both worlds.
Absolutely. All right. So last one for me. I thought this was super important. I don't dwell on failure. I don't do it. When I have to take an L, I just take it on the chin and move on. There's really no point. I mean, you have to digest it. You have to review it, and you have to say, what can I learn from this? Mm-hmm. Okay. And that might take a minute, but like, you don't need to tell your grandma, your sister, your mama, your brother. You don't need to tell everybody about this thing that happened, that you're dwelling on, because it's taking, like, when you... And this is a Trisha thing, I'm sure, somewhere in your psychology class you've learned this. Like, when you dwell on these things, it's super negative, and now your mind's full of negative crap, and you're not able to look forward, blah, 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 blah. Don't dwell on your losses. Learn your lesson, apply it, and move on.
Yeah, because are you losing once or losing 10 times every time you retell that story? You're putting your body through that same loss over and over and over every time you tell the story.
And you're mentally setting yourself up like, okay, when this situation happens, it's automatically an L. When this situation happens, it's automatically an L. You know, like with that listing with the crazy guy that I had, which we're not talking about because we're not dwelling on the past. So
that's right.
You're going to have to go find that episode somewhere else.
I love all of that for you. These were great. I love it. All right. Well, I think we went through a lot of great things, a lot of stuff you could do well not doing.
Did you see her brain try to flip that around and put that together? For those of you that can't see, Trisha just like had a stroke right here.
Smoke came out of the ears. All right, guys. Well, if you liked the episode, if it made you think, made you laugh, gave you an aha moment, share it with a friend. Please share, like, subscribe, do all the things so that we know you like us and we keep bringing you this goodness every single Thursday. We got a new episode. And if you haven't heard the old ones, go back and listen, guys. There's so many good nuggets. And what I have found is everybody likes a different episode.
Yes.
So find the one you love.
All right. We'll see you next Thursday.
Bye.
We thank you so much for joining us today on the Elite Live with Trish and Kylie. Be sure to share the episode with a friend so we can continue bringing you more great tips on grit, grace, and real estate. You can also connect with us on Instagram, Facebook. We hope the ideas we share continue to help you build an empire and leave a legacy.